All right. Good morning, everybody. So, I had a good question come in, one that I thought would benefit a lot of people. So, I answered it directly in an email to this individual, but then figured it would be a very good topic just for a quick chat. I don't think this will be a long chat. I know that's how every long chat starts. But basically, the question was if you hear some crunching in the background, that's because I have our puppy here in the room with us, and I gave him some sort of, one of those dog friendly bones to chew on so that I can keep an eye on him and he doesn't decide to use our house as a toilet. So, keeping an eye on the puppy while doing this. Anyway, I digress. So, this gentleman's question was basically like, look, life's crazy at the moment. Free time is very minimal between trying to work in the middle of the lockdown with COVID. That means the kids are getting school from home with online learning. Everyone's running around like a chicken with their head cut off. And, free time is basically nil. He said if he's lucky, he'll get 3 workouts in a week if he's absolutely lucky. And what he was struggling with is how do you choose which 3 workouts to do? So whether you go to your affiliate, whether you follow CrossFit.com, whether you're following Linchpin, at Linchpin we put out 5 workouts a week. And so he was in this quandary of, I've got to not do 2 workouts. I have to make this choice, this whole fear of missing out deal. And he was struggling greatly with that. And so anyway, I answered it via email, but I figured I'd give the rough tips and tricks that I gave to him in case anyone else finds themselves in a similar situation and you can only work out, let's say, 3 times a week and you have to let some things go. How do you do that? So if you're following whatever programming it happens to be, maybe 1 week behind, well, then you can see the entire week's workouts, right? And that's great. And then you can make a decision as to which 3 are you going to do and which 2 you're not going to do. If you're part of the Linchpin private track, you get the Beyond the Whiteboard app, and then you can look into the future as well as the upcoming workouts and just do the same deal. Look at the week in total and say, these are the 3 I'm going to do, these are the 2 I'm going to discard. Now, things that I would think about in general, this would be my ideal wish list. So 3 workouts. I would pick, and this is assuming that life's heavy, life's full, and so your kind of motivation is probably a bit low because you're running ragged, you're tired, the whole 9 yards. So I would pick one of the 3 workouts that you absolutely love. I mean, almost like you cherry picked it. Just a wheelhouse workout that makes you smile. So even if you're having a day of low motivation or whatnot, it's easy to walk out in the gym to do whatever that workout happens to be because it brings you joy. So pick one workout that you love. Now, this is going to take a little bit of discipline. Choose one workout. I don't want to say that you hate, that's unfair, but choose the second workout that most certainly some components of that are things that are a bit outside your comfort zone. The whole working your weaknesses deal, right? Because that first one was just a pitch right across the plate. You just cherry picked it. We love it. So the second one, let's make sure that there's something in there that's going to challenge you, that's going to improve you as an athlete, things that you don't crush. Maybe it's a multi-part workout, right? Like it's a triplet or something like that. So maybe 2 of the things you enjoy and one of them is quite a struggle for you. That would be a nice choice. Then the third workout, I would say try to get in a heavy day for sure. So we've got a workout that you love, a workout that some aspect of it is outside your comfort zone and it's challenging, and the third one is a heavy day. And if you could get in that for 3 times a week in this life is crazy, free time is minimal sort of a deal, I think anyone would be pleasantly surprised with how much fitness they were able to maintain doing 3 workouts a week and potentially even improve. I'm not scared to say that depending upon what they were doing previously. If you're doing 3 workouts a week now, maybe you're getting a nice bit of rest, which allows you to attack those 3 workouts feeling pretty darn good head to toe with a fair bit of intensity, and you might actually get a lot more good stuff out of that than you thought. So that is my quick little deal. Now, in that, there are things that we could pick apart and discuss, right? It just depends upon how much you want to geek out and nerd out because we're doing 3 workouts a week. if the things that I'm about to talk about now would paralyze you with fear and paralyze you with indecision because you would just try to nuke it too much and then you wouldn't do anything, then don't worry about the stuff. But these would be some other nice things to think about because you're doing 3 workouts a week, you're disregarding 2 of them, and so there's a good chance that you might miss something, right? So you could then look at those 3 workouts that you're going to choose and think, all right, in the grand scheme of things, if I'm trying to maintain as much fitness as possible, I should see, we've got monostructural, which is like your rowing, your running, your biking, things like that. Weightlifting, which is not the sport of weightlifting, but in CrossFit it's just moving external objects, barbells, dumbbells, kettlebells, sandbags, wall balls, things like that, weightlifting. And then gymnastics, again, not the sport of gymnastics, but just body weight movements. Your pull ups, handstand walking, ring muscle ups, etc., etc. So now you've got those 3 workouts that you wanted to choose. You may want to look at them also with the lens of those 3 components: monostructural, weightlifting, and gymnastics. And you can put a little M next to any component in the weightlifting that falls under a monostructural category, a W for the weightlifting, a G for the gymnastics, and see, did you pick 3 workouts because you love barbells and there's just W's everywhere and you're like, well, that's not going to lead down a well-rounded path. I have, whatever, 10 W's, 1 monostructural, and no gymnastics. Right? It just might be a good eye-opening exercise to make sure that you are once again trying to maintain as much well-rounded GPP, general physical preparedness, as possible. And again, always trying to divert a rabbit hole so we don't spend an hour on this. The monostructural, the weightlifting, and gymnastics, those 3 components there, I'm not saying that exactly 1/3 needs to be monostructural, 1/3 needs to be W's, and 1/3 needs to be G's. That I also think is a programming misconception. But you should be able to get a pretty darn good idea if you're missing the boat in one way, shape, or form. So I would check that out with regards to the 3 workouts that you chose. And then there are just some other general things, even in that you could lightly gloss over or nerd out as much as you want, again, to make sure that you're maintaining as much capacity as possible and not leaving any fitness on the table. And you could be, okay, in these workouts and movements that I've chosen, how often am I pulling from the ground, or am I pulling from the ground at all? Am I going below parallel? If so, when? Am I going overhead? Am I pulling towards my body, with a ring row, a bent over row? Am I pulling towards my body with a pull up or a muscle up? And what direction am I pushing? I mentioned overhead, but then we could have push up, bench press, ring dip, things of that nature, so various directions to push. Have I embraced mostly fast lifts with the Olympic lifts, or do I have some of the slow lifts with the power lifts in there as well? Am I neglecting any particular time domains, right? Are all of these workouts super short? They're very long. Most people probably wouldn't gravitate towards the long ones, but there's benefit there, obviously. Am I hitting rep ranges from low to moderate to high? The list goes on and on. So depending upon with how thorough of a lens you want to look at these 3 workouts, you could just simply pick 3, one that you love, one that has some things that get you outside your comfort zone, and one heavy day. Or you could then pick those 3 and then go through that list like I just said, weightlifting, monostructural, gymnastics, and then all the other components there as well. And you could make a really solid choice with just 3 workouts. You may not don't feel the need to cover every single solitary one of those bases that I just said. That might be unrealistic, but you might be pleasantly surprised with just how many you can cover. And if you missed one of those bases, we'll get it next week. That's fine. Life goes on. You're in the grind right now with whatever it happens to be, and we're just trying to maintain as much health and fitness as possible. And like I said, if those things would paralyze you in fear by trying to nuke it too much, then I would just take a step back. The important thing is that you're finding the motivation and discipline to actually do something, to get out into the garage and work out when life is just punching you in the face. That in and of itself is a win. Choosing the best workouts possible is just the cherry on top. the other thing which you may want to pay attention to is if you are diligent and focused, of course, depending upon the workout, but it is realistic with a lot of these, with a lot of just classic CrossFit workouts, to warm up, to get in your workout, to do a quick cool down and stretch, and have that take about 30 minutes total. It is possible. There's a tremendous amount, whether we realize it or not, of just dilly-dallying in the gym, which is great. It's one of the great things in life, right? You're messing around with the music, you're talking to your buddy, you surf on your phone for a little bit. Like, there is a lot of sloppy time in there that if you just went in and moved with an absolute ferocious purpose, I think you'd be shocked of how quickly you could get in a warm-up, a workout, and a cool down and be out of there and right back in with the family or back to work online or whatever it happens to be. I think you'll be good to go. With that being said, oh, I thought I heard the puppy getting into some mischief, but he's okay. With that being said, one of the days that it can be tough to rush, and I certainly wouldn't want anyone to rush, is that one day a week that you're going heavy. It takes time to do a heavy day properly. From doing your general warm-up and then taking your time to do your warm-up sets with rest time between there, slowly building up in the load to whatever's appropriate for you, to then getting to your working sets and, requiring a proper warm-up so you can actually really go heavy, and then resting 2 to 4 minutes between each one of those working sets, then cooling down, stretching, and going home. It's easy for a heavy day to eat up an hour. So maybe if as you plan out your week, there's going to be, even though you're only getting in 3 workouts that week, there's going to be one day that lends itself better to spending a bit more time in the gym than the other 2 days. That may be a really good day to plan the heavy day, no matter where it is, just because they do take time. That would be the ideal situation. If that isn't possible, the other thing that I will say is it takes less time to warm up for a lighter weight than a heavier weight, right? If you want to warm up for a 300-pound back squat, it generally takes longer for most of us than to warm up for a 95-pound squat below parallel. So again, if you're pressed on time, you can use a lighter weight and just do some sort of just leg devastation. Oh, my dog is looking at the door as if he has to urinate. Buddy, are you okay? You're making me really nervous. Are you alright? Could I get you to come over here and just sit down for a minute? What do you think? Hey, come here. Come here, you good? Come here. Come on, yeah. Come on. Alright, sit. Alright, good job. Alright, let's pee later. Don't pee now, okay? We are in a mission critical time right now. I'll get you out as soon as I can. I believe in you. Oh, he's looking at the door. He's intently looking at the door. We're going to wrap this up. So what I was going to say is you can go really far with lighter weights. So every now and then when I'm going to pinch, if you're not ready for this, you want to work up to it, but I will do, in a 7-minute window, dumbbell lunges as far as I can with a pair of 50-pound dumbbells and just mark the meters that I go in 7 minutes. And next time I go back, I'll try to beat that 7 minutes worth of lunging. I know it's not a classic heavy day, but I'm here to tell you, you will not be shortchanged with 7 minutes of dumbbell lunges. It is a brutally effective little piece, and it doesn't take long to work up for. And, all this brings me back to when Ian Wittenberg and I did the 321 Go South motorcycle trip across America, Central America, and South America back in 2013. And we didn't have gear. We'd pop into affiliate maybe once or twice a week and try to touch a barbell, but we lived on burpees, air squats, and sprints. And it was amazing how much burpees, air squats, and sprints maintained our fitness. It was incredible. So, minimal gear, minimal time, life happens, but you can do it. So those are my recommendations for choosing 3 workouts a week. Enjoy. I'm going to take my puppy outside.